Here we go again. I'm back with another session of Product Like It's Friday, and I had to think about what day the title was. Product Like It's Friday, although it's Wednesday, even though it's Wednesday. And this would have been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 4 days in a row. And I want to do a little something different today, a little bit of change of pace. The last little while, I've been hyper focusing on getting functionality working, getting the flow of the app working as much as I can. And the reason for that is early on, there's so much discovery to do. There's initial discovery that happens in the thinking, ideation, design process. And sometimes we forget how much discovery there is still occurring during the development and coding phase. It is impossible for you to have thought about everything before you begin coding. And I don't think you should think about everything before you begin coding, because not everything is either that important, or you realize things that are different. So if you spend all that time up front thinking, you're going to inevitably discover is different and was something that you did not expect. So which is why I'm hyper focusing on the flow of the app, the interaction. So not necessarily the visual appeal just yet. So hopefully that will improve over time, but just the feeling of the flow of the app itself. And as a result, I have not really been caring about the coding cleanliness or the purity of the code. I still won't, to a large degree, but at the same time, it's a good idea for me to take a look at what I have thus far and do some cleanup work, particularly related to what happened yesterday, which is on the last stream, I was frustrated by Sequelize, the database library that I'm using. My problems with the library were I was trying to use it based on the documentation that I saw, and it wasn't behaving quite as I had expected. One of that reason is my own lack of knowledge, but I think part of it is that maybe the library isn't quite set up for heavy TypeScript usage, even though my usage was not that heavy, I don't think. And I'm not sure where the balance lies in where the issues really were. And I was complaining about the library, and I don't want to be one of those devs that complain, and you know that most of the complaint is based on my lack of understanding, not from a depth of understanding. And so I want to give Sequelize another chance, and try to focus on learning it better or using its features maybe the way they were meant to be used. And then if that still doesn't work out, if I still am not happy with that, I'll just I'll replace it with a different library. And this session today is to figure that out, give Sequelize a chance. So let me share my screen, and then we can get started with that. All right, so that's Sequelize TypeScript. I'm just going to load up a couple of windows here. Anyway, so I'm using version 6 of Sequelize. In it, there is a TypeScript option. And they say, hey, they're working hard on making it a breeze to use. But some parts are still work in progress. When you click the link, it leads to a GitHub page, but it doesn't quite have the parts in progress because this label, I guess, doesn't work anymore. And then they say we recommend using Sequelize TypeScript to bridge that gap. And I did not do that. I did not use Sequelize TypeScript. So that's one consideration here, is that maybe because I'm using TypeScript, I'm expecting TypeScript-y things to happen. I should use the library that's more geared towards that. So that's one option. Here's why I didn't use it. I was like, they're not updating it. So what am I doing? That could still be an option, I suppose. But the other option here is they're working on a V7 alpha version. And this is just their introduction on it. And you'll notice that TypeScript is sort of the default tab in the documentation, which makes me think that this alpha version 7, I don't know if it's a rewrite or whether they've sort of completed that list of things that they had linked to, and will at some point release version 7, which will lean into TypeScript a bit more. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know whether my errors were as a result of sort of using version 6 in a TypeScript environment and trying to do like the has many things, and maybe there's inconsistencies there. But maybe it is. And so we decided SQLized TypeScript is like, 2 years old. Do we really want to go there? But version 7 alpha is where we might go. And then at this session, I'll probably be spending kind of back and forth time in the docs and in the code and sort of giving it more attention. I felt the pressure of yesterday kind of, forcing my way through building the app and not spending too much time in the docs and messing around. I felt like I wasted enough time trying to get SQLized to do what I had wanted it to. And I could have taken some other paths, but here we are. Okay, let's quickly see if they have some kind of upgrade guide and see what I need to be aware of. I'm not too concerned about, migration breaking changes, because I'm happy to just remove most of the code and then rework my way through where I need to be. It just here seems the initialization is a bit different, so I'll need to kind of look into that initialization code. I think I did a bunch of code around whether I was going to use Postgres or SQLite. And I'm wondering whether that's even necessary at all, and I should just commit to SQLite. Even if this goes into a production environment, I can just maybe I'll have like a VPC or just a box running it, and not really care about, like a VM box running it, and not really care about multi-server deployment. I mean, we're just going to use it for one purpose here. Okay, so they have a bunch of things. And here's the trap is, I actually don't want to spend all this time reading this. So I will start, I'll upgrade the library and then kind of take it from there. So starting with 6, we're introducing scope module names. The former SQLized module is now available under SQLized core. So this is what we want. And then here they're sort of describing what we have here. I don't know whether I need to go through all these sort of changes or breaking changes, because I feel like I can just look at the getting started, and that'll kind of mostly be where I want to go. So let's just do it and let's see where we net out. And if there's issues, what are you going to do? So installing SQLized Core Alpha now. In the package, I'll go ahead and find SQLize and remove the instance. I think SQLize CLI I'm still keeping, and probably running into those CJS just TypeScript issues there still, but listen, we're here to give libraries a chance. If I click here, so I guess I do have to npm add this. And then I need to initialize it somewhere. And so Let's get back into the code and take a look at Sequelize, and the Sequelize setup is here. And this looks to me like this should just work if I Sequelize core this out, and then just double checking here. Sequelize core. String is not assignable, it says it doesn't like it. And that just means I'll need to check if there's a different way of doing this. I thought I had seen in the docs down here in the upgrade, which will open a new tab. The easier way of doing it over here. Oh, this is before and this is after. Got it. So I do have to still specify the dialect and pass in the URL. So let's do that now. So I got to get the dialect, and we'll get the SQLite dialect. And this should now know. And then I'm just seeing here, it's not, it probably struggle a little bit in terms of trying to figure out what the right code is, because the V7 code looks like the V6 code, but there's a lot more V6 code out there. So I'm supposed to pass in the dialect object here, not something else. And then here it should figure this out, and I'll just do this as well. So the docs here say this, but the code here says let's actually take a look. It does say dialect name. No, that's just it. And the class dialect, which I'm assuming is, and again, do I want to spend any time here? No. So this it is. SQLite 3. Nope, I don't want to do all that business. And that looks fine. I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to comment it out for now. And the rest of this looks fine. Okay. What else? And now the model definitions change quite a bit as well. So let's get into defining a model. And they have sort of different versions now. And even in the JavaScript version, they're using decorators. So it doesn't seem like the decorators aspect here is something tied specifically to TypeScript, although TypeScript has more typing annotations or definitions, let's just say. And let me just see, decorators legacy core, they're the same. Decorator legacy core, okay. So we have decorators, and we'll be using that. So I can go back and modify our models, which there are not that many of. Server models, and there's 4, and the user is not really used, but I will modify it. Maybe I'll even just start here. Note that Sequelize is gone, so we're getting these issues. Let me go wholesale. Why not? And then wherever we need to change things, we change things. One thing I do want to understand is where this is used. Okay, so that's just for initialization. We don't need that, but the rest of it we will use. So let's go ahead and copy this wholesale, and then we'll figure it out bit by bit. So all of this goes away. And we are going to copy this as well, paste it right beside. I'm doing my export at the bottom, so I don't need to do that here. And these two lines look identical, so they remain. And let's start with the definitions here. Attribute, primary key, and auto increment. So let's do that. Auto increment, yes, but attribute first, please. And here it wants to do this. So I want to give this a chance to see. Decorators are not valid here. Wow, that's rude. I'll get to that in a second. Already unhappy with what is happening. But maybe there's a version of TypeScript that they want, or something or the other. Or no, I was like, maybe I need to install this separately, but that's not the case. Let me type this out. Primary key and auto increment, let's pull that in. And it does not like decorators are not valid here. I don't have any coding actions to follow through on. So already I'm at a loss very quickly into the session. Okay. Let's go back to getting started and maybe some gotchas on what versions of maybe TypeScript or other things that we should be using in conjunction with this version of Sequelize. So I'm scanning now. Supported to make sure that the types node package corresponding to your Node.js version is installed in your project. So let's do that first. So I don't have types for Node, so let's begin there. And for my version of Node.js, so NVM, let me just list here, and I'm 2015-1. I could probably just do this and just see what version gets installed. And it's 22.14.1. I'm on 2015-1. So I believe I could do this. And the latest release of Node is 22.14.1. Other releases are 2014.8 on TypeScript 4.7. The other thing I could do is, so let me see what my TypeScript version is. I don't have a TypeScript version here, probably because that belongs in the next. So I don't know if they have a package. That's fine. I can just look in my lock file. And at, no, TypeScript : 563. So 5.6 on the TypeScript side. I'm trying to think whether that matters. But for now, quickly, instead of sort of updating all of Node, let me just see if this is functional. And if there's any issues, I'll come back. So that step is completed. What else? Versions policy page. TypeScript 5 and above. We got it. Okay, so not worried about that yet. Makes use of exports package JSON field. You may, of course, your TS config configuration to make sure module resolution supports it. At the time of TS writing, this can be done two ways. Change module resolution to, sorry, checking my messages. Okay, model resolution to node 16, bundler or set. Okay, that seems very doable. TS config, again, I don't have a TS config by default here. It extends Nux TS config. So And here I'm looking for module resolution, which is bundler set to this or bundler. And then, or set this. Let me just see. Resolve package does not exist. So if I did have to do it, I would have to do it here, I believe. Or maybe not like that, but with some options here that were separate. But we won't be doing that. We'll rely on this bundler business and hope that is true. And I think that's that. Could that just have been me not having types node? Keasley would be enough. Hello. Keasley would be enough. But I wanted to first give SQL as a chance. The whole point was like me. I do like working with ORMs. And I've used Next, Connects, Next before as well, and work with that, and that's fine. So Keasley is my fallback option, actually. So I'm going to give SQL as a chance, be fair, because part of my frustration is probably me and not the library. And so I feel a bit unrushed today, and we'll use this time to figure this out. And if that doesn't work, then yeah, Keasley's my next step. Absolutely. And I don't know how to pronounce it. I like how both these libraries chose words that you're not 100% sure how to pronounce without looking at their docs. Like, is it connects? Is it next? Is it next? It's not next, but is it next? Is it Keisley? Is it Keasley? What is it? Nobody knows. I did not try TypeORM before. I have tried Drizzle, just very briefly, but not with a project, just the scaffolding, right? Set it up, create a record, that kind of business, try a migration or one of their migration processes. All right, where am I now? I'm looking at, okay, so I updated types. Nux, is that enough? Is that all that is needed? I would be thrilled if that were the case. And no, that is not the case. And if you know why decorators are not valid here is happening, let me know. But now we'll use Google. What is this site? And let's see. This might not even be a problem. So yeah, it's Keasley. It's like a European word, I think. I forget which country. Okay, this might not even be an issue. So that's fine. We're gonna power through, and then I might have to change my NeoVim configuration to ignore this particular message because ESLint is not giving me this. TS is. Note that here, or I guess, yeah, here I'm getting an issue from TSLint, and here I'm getting an issue from TS, and they're a bit different in what they measure. Never heard of Aurelia. All right, let's power through. Okay, we'll turn these off. We might come back here if it still fails, but I have to do a lot of sort of reworking now. I mean, a little bit of reworking now in order to get this working. So where was I? Model. Defining model. There we go. I mean, most of this should be straightforward. What I do like about it is it's getting rid of all this boilerplatey definition, redefinition, repetition, which is wonderful. So I also have not heard of biome. I'm so I'm so out of the loop these days, I suppose. I'm just it is nice sometimes to just code and not work on your setup environment. But every couple of years I will take a pause and get back into sort of the setup issues and going through all those. I'm gonna just split my screen here and make sure that I can see the configs coming in here, so I don't have to entirely trust what the AI is giving me. I also have unique setup here. I wonder if there's a attribute for that. Seems like there can be. Okay. And here they don't give me timestamp setups. Do I even need them, or no? And then there's also this business of this default here. So I am getting all of these. And I guess I will need to. I mean, this is interesting, right? It says all defaults in this are not being used. So this is me getting mildly frustrated today. Is, hey, I'm sort of depending on a bunch of tooling here to tell me whether this is legitimate or not. It doesn't seem like it's based on my version of TypeScript, because I am on version 5 and above. And this, it should be now, like I've used things like unique and default here, which aren't included here. And I'm not getting that sort of benefit of my tooling. Is there a place where I would have to turn it on? Because I would have thought that by default, maybe Next by default doesn't have it. Let's see, defining a model, getting started, should tsconfig. There's no indications here in setup that I need to be modifying any tsconfig settings. And tsconfig here does not have any decorator search things, so I can eyeball kind of. And then worst comes to worst, I can go back here on my maybe there's a server tsconfig that's different. Because I am in the server code. I should have checked that. So let's go. .next/tsconfig server. And maybe this is different. So module resolution is bundler. So we're clear from a module resolution point of view. Bundler, just making sure. Yep. And then result. Doesn't have that, and nothing about decorators. Let's take a look here. Experimental decorators true. It actually could be two things. It could be my node version, or it could be okay. Thank you. Target is EX next, so I think falling flags target ES6 or a more recent ECMAScript version. I feel like, and then experimental decorators and experimental or emit decorator metadata. Thank you for that comment. Hinoji, is that how you pronounce your name or your handle? It's on the README on GitHub. Wow. the README. Well, you would think this was the README. Oh, hold on. Main, do they have one for version 7 that's different? Alpha v7 README decorators. I don't see it, but let's add it. One more thing I do want to quick check again. Yeah, Node 18 plus. I'm on Node 20. Okay. So let's go back and modify my TS config to allow this decorator business, right? So I have my internal TS config here, and this is server TS config. So here, whoops, I can now compiler options this and just accept this part. And here I just want experimental decorators true, and I want emit decorator metadata true. It's in v6, not in v7. What are we going to do? You know? All right. So will it blend? Let's see. You know, just for, let me just get out of, let me restart my server. Just, you know, sacrifice a goat. And now let's see if that worked. Thank you. That was it. I'm just taking a pause here because I feel like I'm not, you know, I feel like I should, I feel like I'm at least above average in coding. I'm not saying I'm some expert or a genius or, you know, I spent enough time scanning this doc. I'm giving SQLize another chance. I feel like I did my part in following the docs to set this up. And I feel like this should have been here. Okay, that's fine. Today is frustration session day. So it's fine for me to, I accept my frustration. And we'll move on. All right. Where were we? True alpha docs are not perfect. I'll give them that. They do have a thing here, which I skipped. So after having said that spiel about, you know, being above average, Syntactic Babel or other to compile them, JavaScript, or getting started guide. I feel like I was on your getting started guide. I did read this. I'm fine. I'm good. All right, back here we go. You still have not told me, Hinogi, how your handle or your name is pronounced. Okay. So I got this business going. I got a default here, and I can add that default here as well. And literal is deprecated. That's fine. And after defining the model, you need to initialize it. This is done by passing it to the SQLize constructor. Well, that's mildly learning, but I can do something like this. This is worth showing. Whatever you like. There is no right way. Wonderful. Oh, a generated name. Okay, interesting. All right, so this seems better. Import models. and this will take everything that's name.model.ts or JS. And that's fine. And I have now to go back to my SQLite setup here. And yeah, I'm right here. And I need to import models. What else do I have to do? Path. No, what is it? Oh, this is an ESLint thing. It doesn't like top level of weights, which should not be an issue anymore. And I am old enough to remember it. I just probably did not play it. So I'm definitely I'm old enough, I think. Okay, so I will have to rename my models to have .model. I'm actually okay with that. I feel safer than doing something like this. Although I could give it the directory name, but that's fine. And then this, what other issues do I have here? Dir name is probably not going to work here. And string concatenation. So there's a few things that won't quite work here, I think. And I did I do something for dir name before? I feel like I did do something for dir name, but let me see. Let's give this a chance because I don't want to spend too much time thinking. Use a fast glob and explicit glob pattern. All right, no problem. I do want to use decorators. What else is this here? Initialize the model. Data types, nullability, default values, all that stuff we just went through kind of in the code. And some additional things. So I think I have what I need for now. And if this is an issue, I think starting the server should probably give me an issue. That's interesting. So top level, that's interesting. Top level await is not available in the configured target ES19 2019. So oops, environment. Which one has it? I feel like I can, yeah, I mean, I feel like I could use ES next everywhere. And I wonder why that wasn't already the case. Let's go to the server tsconfig here. And then let's also open up the next. It's ES next. Am I being trolled? So this is ES next. And I did not expect to be dealing with these issues, I'll be honest. News feature wouldn't run an old browser. I'm not in a browser. Node. Kind of just quickly scanning these things. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the dir name business from the ESM for sure. I had to deal with that a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, yeah, it's like don't do these top level awaits, but they're available. They're available in both in my node version. No, this is Chrome again. Node server. And here maybe AI will help me. Yeah, I'm in module land. I'm using more than node 14. I don't think I need a config to allow it. Wait, oh geez, I'm 40 minutes in. Yeah, let me go back to the error. This is ESLint, but this error here is not ESLint. This is a transform error because somewhere it thinks that I'm using ES 2019. So let me just search for that. ES 2019. I still have to look at my keyboard to type numbers. And then maybe I can do just to make sure that that is working. Yeah, target is, unless there's some other thing that's 2019, my ESLint config. I'm wondering whether there's a configuration of some sort or something here. I don't think this should be it, but worth quickly just checking. You're thinking node modules? Yeah, so. I wonder if they have a ignore. Oops. Can I ignore my ignore? Ignore case, ignore file sensitive. No ignore dot. Don't respect. So you can. No ignore. No ignore. Oh, did I type that out wrong? What did I do? Oh, help. Just trying a bunch of things here. Let's just go to SQLize direct. I mean, I don't think. I mean, it doesn't matter because it's compiled, right? I don't think it should matter. Like, at the end of the day, we're just using pure JavaScript. And my main project is the one that's running. Just trying to see if maybe there's something revealing here. Yeah, you got to keep all these grepping tools in your back pocket just in case. The last thing I would have wanted to use there is actual grep, but okay. I'm going to work around it, I think, for now. There's a couple errors popping up here, which I want to clarify. Game, player, and turn, I just have not updated those models. So let me, yeah, thanks for the search. But I'm actually going to commit to changing all the code and seeing whether, this does say error. So it must be an actual legit core error happening here, but I might not await. I might do something else. All right, so where am I now? Let's change the code. Let's change the code. Let's keep on going. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I said that today I'm just going to focus on kind of slowing down and seeing this through, but I will, in my heart, still be frustrated that I did not make functional progress on the app. Okay, so let's get back to the docs, defining models. Let's look at the simple version again. Let's double, triple check, and then I'll try and create some models with the code outside of Next, just running a script. And if that works, then I know my isolation with the ES29 problem is a Next problem. Yeah, that's my last resort is actually, not doing the top level thing and actually addressing it. It's interesting because I have been using top level awaits in the view code, but without any issues. So it might be a tsconfig.server thing, but they both point to ES next. Okay, you know what? It's 2022. I might specify 2020. I just want to know the differences here. I mean, cutting edge should do it, right? Like, but just for consistency purposes, this is what I will try before falling back to the async function and actually the top level thing. So we'll see. See, this is doing some seemingly unrelated tasks, often minor and time consuming, to get the, because if I'm looking at Dino, like what am I doing? What are we doing here? What is the meaning of life at that point? Okay. All right. Focus. Okay, so I got this business here. My only issue are these deprecated literals, which I will not care about at this point. And then let's go ahead and modify the rest of this. And hopefully, I mean, I will be getting rid of all of these, but I'll come back and I might need them in a separate way. And all of that is fine. And when I'm doing this, I'll keep this here because I'll look at the docs for this. And I can go ahead and remove that and then just copy paste this and go for it. All of this remains the same. And now we add the decorators here. We're still doing the creation optional business, primary key and auto increment, please. Thank you. Round number and not null. Whoops. Not null. And then, all right, awesome. Repeat. This is where I do really appreciate the AI autocomplete. All missing imports, thank you. And then just double checking here to see if I need anything here. I'm noticing timestamps are default, so I don't think I'd need those. I hope not, but let's find out. And this I'll comment out because there's probably a different way of signifying those as well, but I do need to get to it immediately. So to say, and then okay. I think I've done what I need to here, and I'm at the point where I can look into associations. Just eyeballing here. There we go. Okay. Basics. Let's start there. One-to-one. Oh, this is just teaching us what they are. Okay, thank you. Has many. This is where we'll begin. It wouldn't be absolutely empty. You still have your declares. And then any other sort of class functions or what have you that you would have wanted. Okay, so we're going to be, yeah, so this is being done through the decorators. So I'm here at a turn. Oh, I'm here in game. I thought it was a turn, but okay, I'm in game. And game has many players. I'm just taking a second to scan this as well. Last time I had a problem because in the examples, everything is defined in one file, both these models, but I was defining them in separate files, and then I was including them both in each other, and that caused the problem with the way that was happening. Let's see if something similar occurs here. And then at that point, I'm just gonna use Keasley, you know? At that point, I feel like I might not. I'm still fairly committed to giving this a chance. Okay, so it has many comment. Oh, I see what you mean. You mean in JavaScript, I guess, because I would still need to, yeah, I mean, in TypeScript, I would still need to type these and have them here. So it wouldn't be entirely empty, but in JavaScript, they have, where is it now? Okay, I'll go there later maybe, but in JavaScript, they have, they're still using decorators, it turns out. Okay, has many player. Are you smart enough to figure that out? No, you're not. Has many player, and then here we want to pass in the foreign key as the next thing, not players. So the foreign key for me is going to be game ID. And let's import. And now type of player is not assignable. Because I haven't changed player yet for the type for typing purposes. So I'm going to leave that there for a second. And I believe that's it on this end. And let's go and change. Let's go and modify player. So I'll start here. Just get the type of games. I might need some of these, so I'll look at that later. And here we go. Yeah, I don't know what their rationale or reasoning is, but maybe they have them in their docs. Integer, yeah. Let's see. So I have a game ID defined here, and here there is a definition for that, and there's no indication that it's a foreign key or some foreign key definition. It's simply a number, which I didn't have here, and I changed it over iterations of what I was trying to get working yesterday. But here we'll just treat it as a regular not null field. And then declare game. And here, I guess it's interesting because in this has many example, they have not done the belongs to case. And I will respect that. So numbers integer and not null. Name is string and not null. Icon is string and not null. And I would have thought it wouldn't give, like, this is where AI should be smarter. I feel like there's a null here. There's a create optional here, bro. Come on. And just to confirm, now allow null is false. So no, it wasn't my fault. There was an issue that happened yesterday where I was passing in nulls, and I had this incorrect all the time. That is my fault. Okay, so yeah, I know. Don't mix snake and I went through this yesterday, and because I work in both code bases, my brain doesn't always settle. You're absolutely right. I did a call out for it yesterday, but I'll do it at some point. I promise. Because I'm not referencing the has one or as it belongs to connection, I don't need this. I don't need this, and we have not used any defaults. Oh no, I need to use a default. I didn't type everything because of my realization here that I was in error. Not null, and then nope, come on. Thank you. And now I do need sequelize here, which I just got rid of it because I thought I was done. Okay, so that gives me this definition of player, and it has many there. And then we need to do a turn. I quickly want to go into game to see whether this error is still happening. And this is now it's working. So there was a typing issue here, and that was because I hadn't changed all the code. Okay, so let's go back here, and let me begin again with copy pasta, and we will determine what to do. All right, primary key, auto increment. Turn belongs to game, so we'll still leave that here. We won't make any connections yet. There's still a lot. I mean, even after this, there's still a lot more cleanup I still need to do on this app, but today's cleanup is just focused on giving sequelize a chance and figuring this out. And then maybe at some point I will do the casing. And here, I had to create optional, but really, it could be not null, right? But let me just follow what I did. Okay, and just copy paste is faster than waiting for AI. And this I can remove. All right, so now I'm in a situation where I have completed all the code, changes in the models, and I'm ready to, like 1 hour in, I'm ready to test. Obviously, like I'm shaking my head at the 1 hour thing, but I could have just done this isolated, maybe in a separate project and setting up and just making sure that the code was working, but I chose not to. So that shake head is both at the situation I'm in and the decisions I've made. Okay. Just double checking here. And I feel like just some level of anxiousness to be like, will it blend? Will it work? And so in order to do that, let me go to my database tasks. And here, yeah, I mean, I made a bunch of changes. So let's go slowly here. Let me comment that out. And here we will simply create a new game and then see what happens. And there's no other diagnostic issues here. So let's see if this is enough for the insert to work. There might be some other issues in my code that prevent it from working. Right on target. So somewhere, I think a different TS config is being used. That's fine. I mean, I guess is this TS config being used by default? And there's no reason why I can't have these in both. So this is probably most likely the case. No, was not the case. All right. Let's follow this bit by bit now. User TS decorations are not valid here. I don't have these errors by default there because of how tsconfig and tsconfig server are working. Server tsconfig. No, this should still be used here, right? Because all this code is in the server /, which is where that other tsconfig is defined. Just pretending running it over and over will adjust and make it work. ESBuild, PMP. I'm scanning all the error lines just to see if there's something hidden there that will help me figure out what's happening. Not seeing it. Because we got rid of that error happening via TypeScript LSP, but it's happening on the command line. Okay, let's take a breath. Yeah, let me hit you with the next server tsconfig. It's fairly straightforward. Really? ESBuild does not support decorators. Okay, so let's kind of trace here why ESBuild is being used in the process. Task is using TSX. Let's see if TSX npm yeah, uses ESBuild. Really? That makes sense. That is very sort of targeted. And that explains why that I'm getting differences in runtime versus compile time, shall we say, interpretation time. And then let me just look at all of this, just so I understand. I'm pretty, like, a while ago, I think I did play with this series of these TypeScript running libraries, and I landed on TSX for what reasons I don't remember anymore. And I mean, this is a lot more detailed than I want. Yeah. Okay, let's see what people have said here. Yes, build limitations. Thank you for that, Energy. That, I mean, I would have taken probably an extra few or many minutes to get there. Because yeah, I would kind of trace back to, just for debugging purposes, I would have traced back, hey, like, what command am I running? npm task, how, like, just trace it back. So we would have kind of gotten here, but that was super helpful having you check and share. This thread is, well, that's unfortunate. But I think it's just part and parcel of using a series of libraries and having a state in the JavaScript world where some things are still experimental stage and not part of the ECMAScript spec. Okay, well, I guess that's that. Do I want to use SWC to start? Let me just check what is available to me. Oh, that's not helpful. That search is not going to be helpful. Because TSX is probably just like a generic term. People just recommending SWC or something else. Wow, it's like years old too. So it's sort of interesting that that's not the case. I guess, I mean, I guess I could just default to TS Node for now. I mean, it's not a big deal. And then Bob would be all our uncles. Yeah. I haven't used SWC before, and I'm like, oh, do I want to go down, like, again, shave the yak and just keep on shaving? Shaving only. No coding. All right, I-D, TS node. And I know that TS node has its own detractors in the world, but we do not care. Oh, mother of, look at what I did here too. It's me and me not reading. But I don't think that should matter. And I mean, we read the docs, but just for sanity purposes, maybe we're wrong. So I don't want to walk out of here thinking that. I guess when you point this way, two thumbs point at you. Okay, we're back to the dir name business where we'll need to use I believe Hinoji shared this earlier, where we'll actually have to import dir name and determine the current directory or define our own dir name. Let's do that, and maybe this just works as build works. Maybe everything just works, and if we fix all of this and it still doesn't work, then we'll try other solutions. Okay, where am I? For now, let's remove TS node from here, and then what do I want? I want to define dir name. Yeah, okay. I just took a second there to isolate the problems because my brain was just flooded with a bunch of issues that I guess we have fixed or need to fix, and I was just reconciling that we still have a top level await issue still pending. Okay, so dir name first. I'm not switching to lazy vim. I actually have. I might switch to lazy vim. But I actually have my own config that I'm fairly content with for the most part. And hopefully I will live stream kind of building it from scratch at some point. Or I'll pre-record it and edit it and share it. Unlikely. Probably live stream. Okay, we're an hour, 12 minutes in without really any real progress. Like zero real progress has been made. Dir name. Does AI know what I want to do? I think this is correct for ESM. And we can double check if that is the case. Okay, now we're just. Now what am I doing with my life? The URL option is not supported in SQLite. Please use the storage option instead. This seems like a lie. But no, it's probably true. The dir name thing worked. It seems like I don't need to use file URL to path. That is working. Is it my version? Is it my version of SQLite library? Like, what's the problem now? I can't believe I'm streaming this. What am I doing? And this would be URL being supported. So presumably, okay, yeah, breaking change v6 to v7, but it's happening here, right? It's happening in this URL business. So let's just find the line of code in my code, if JavaScript even ever tells me that. Which honestly is like, it's the most ridiculous thing. Okay, so SQLize line 14. It is a single file, but I have it defined in my .env like this. And I'm picking it up from there. So it should just pick it up, but let's see what the docs say, and maybe there's some versions I need to update. maybe in the SQLite version I need to update. Okay, SQLite. Where am I? Okay. SQLite 3 npm. Let's just take a look at the versions quickly. Versions. 5.17 is the latest version, which is what we're using here. And so maybe SQLite 3 is supposed to do some magic. That has to be a joke. I came from V7. The whole reason for this session was to give V7 a chance. And if this doesn't work, oh man. Okay, this is. I'll spend some time converting to Keasley. I have the time running on the corner here, so when my eyeballs go all the way there, I'm looking at the time and how much time I've spent. Okay. Docs. Watch. Get start. Upgrade to V7. Look at this. It says the new ways to do this. Let's see if they have an example for SQLite. They do, but they have this example where they don't define. And I don't see any other issues emerging here. Okay, so that's fine. I don't see any issues. Because the other thing with like switching to Keasley is like, I'll do it, but I'll have to figure out migrations and everything again, and it'll come with its own can of worms. And we'll have cans of worms, but we'll never fish. Like it's just will be just it's can of worms all the way down. Again, let's just databases. Yeah, it does say storage here. Okay. But not in the other docs, and no clear, like, okay, listen. And again, it's fine. I mean, like, obviously, I understand that libraries, like, it's alpha, you know, and maybe I should give this feedback as well and not just complain. Of course, I agree with all those things. Look. But it says, look, you could use the URL. Okay, it's just say here, so the exact format of the URL depends now. So that was the breaking change. Got it. Yeah, it's over here. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I scanned the code first. I did not read everything. Storage. Okay. All right, let's just commit to SQLite, right? Like, why are we pretending like I'm going to be using multiple databases? We still have other issues. So why don't we like here? Sorry. Okay, let's give it. So I guess that's one thing that's off between the docs and the functional sort of TypeScript typing that comes with the library is this dialect business doesn't work, right? And then what else doesn't work? You know, I was willing to avoid this issue by just doing the thing of like importing, you know, user from user and all. Like I was willing to do all of this and just passing it in the array because I have but 4 models and this is not the most important thing. But I can't get SQLite working at all. Right? I pass in the right dialect. Oops, SQLite 3. Pardon me, and it says storage doesn't work. And here I'm looking at the TypeScript definition, and storage is not on the same level. It would be what probably should happen from a TypeScript perspective is it should probably detect that I'm passing in the SQLite dialect or have SQLite 3 here and then allow storage here. But it does not want to seem to do that. And at this point, I'm at a loss where I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to switch to Postgres just to make this work. So, and that's the cost of the alpha version and trying to give it a chance. And it seems that they're quite not at a point where I can just read the docs and make it work, right? Like, we ran into a bunch of issues from the decorators to whatever else. And some of those issues were mine with the TSX and, you know, other issues like not allowing nulls in certain fields that I should have allowed null in. And that the sort of, again, the combination of all of that makes these issues far deeper than they ought to be. So I'm ready now, almost an hour and a half in, to just use Keasley. And I'm stretching because I have a standing environment here and my arms are like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay. Deep breath, water, and Keasley. All right. What a session. Keasley, and I can just get rid of all this. And like I say, I tried and it didn't work out. Oops. And look how hard I tried. I feel like I did not half-ass that, right? I partial assed that for sure. And I believe the rest of this is just, I can just get rid of. Okay. We're back to SQLize version 6, and we're using Keasley. Hinoji, what would be the other option? That's how you type it. All right, let's give these docs a chance. I'm bracing myself, like my whole body's like, is this gonna work? Oh, TypeORM would be another option. Yes. Yes. Let's do this. JavaScript database interface that contains the table names as keys. And so I'm defining interfaces first, and then I have all these types. And then I'm defining the database object. And here we're not using models in the way that we would want. We're using sort of these repositories or these sort of just JavaScript modules. I'm just laughing at this comment here. There's a migration guide. Yeah. No, not right now. Not right now. Like I want to fail multiple times because I feel like Keasley I've used very briefly before. Okay, fine. And I've used Next before, and like this is very similar. I used Objection.js, which I really liked actually many years ago, and I think the Keasley author is the same as the Objection.js author. I read somewhere, I might be wrong. And so, and again, I'm probably going to run into a bunch of issues dealing with adjusting to the nuances of Keasley. But I'm okay. I'm okay, I think. And so we'll just, I'll probably just retain my models language, and we'll just use it as a module that exports these functions, and we'll define these functions for storing our data. And that's like, this is fine. This seems fine. The thing that I want to be mindful of is this stuff first, which is migration. So I do want a fairly straightforward way of generating migration files. So there's some setup work for me to do. And single file versus multiple files. You don't need to store your migrations as separate files. If you don't want to, you can easily implement your own migration provider. Oh, you can define providers. That determines the execution order. But they don't, do they go into, I'm just scanning right now. This is if I wanted to set up my own task. I'm happy to, again, this comment, I appreciate your presence here. Like starting this whole process, it's unclear, what I'm doing, whether people will like it or whether people will be doing anything. But sorry, just checking my messages at the same time. But I appreciate having some company. Thank you. I'm going to struggle with Keasley. You're not going to be short of any content here. I'm here for your struggling content needs. Absolutely. I'm trying to see how much setup work, but maybe a lot of that is present here. Of course, it is a work in progress. Look, all open source software at some points work in progress. Okay, so we need to define a Keasley config ts, which defines sort of like the .sequelize RC file, which defines the paths. Okay, let's start here. Let's start with Keasley, and it uses Next's module, so it does migrate create, I think. I mean, it would have been nice if they just documented their own usage. I was trying to see if they had a site that documented it. They don't have a wiki here. And so I guess we just got to jump, but it'd be nice to just remain here and know how to use it, right? Okay, yeah, I can remove this. Okay, let's jump in. Like I'm trusting this process will work. And if it doesn't, I'm going to give myself half an hour to get as far as I can. And if I feel like I'm in a path that makes sense, then we'll continue. And then if not, then maybe I'll use Type4M. Maybe I'll just be sad inside my heart and use connects next. Okay. And this doesn't even link to the migrations bit. Not here. Not here. Here, and migration make in order to generate the file name, and I could pass it TypeScript. That's nice. Or I guess Keasley will just do TypeScript by default, I assume. There's make, there's latest to do the actual migration. Up to go up one, and down to go down one, and roll back to roll back. But I think I also saw a comment here in the doc, something about rollback. Is it without dash all is not supported, as Keasley does not keep track of migration batches. So what does it do? Just roll back one, I guess, which is sensible. Okay, all right, I need just to shake it off and go. So again, we're starting off with, and is there an init command that will initialize this for me? Yeah. Okay. Added Keasley, added this. I think I still want types node. There's no reason why we should not have that. And then I have this. I should now be able to do pnpm Keasley init, which gives me a config file. And here, what am I looking at? Already, I love that there's some issues. And my confidence level just goes, huh, what am I doing? But let's just double check. Maybe none of this is actually relevant, right? So, or the name of the underlying driver library, e.g. PG, or dialect instance, or the name. So we'll have to configure. This is set up for Postgres, but to configure SQLite. Let's just for checking purpose, see if there's an init that allows me to pass in a dialect. I guess you can see how to use it in the examples folder. .config, so I guess in the main file, the .config. So I'm going to need better SQLite. Luckily, this is SQLite. Thank you for the suggestion, Hinoji. luckily, this is in SQLite example. And this one is top level await, which we know works. Or no, which we're not sure that it works actually. And then let's just look at the file again. Define config. Dialect is just string here. Oh, this is probably just going like super in depth about creating the dialect, but you can just pass in the name, and that's much simpler. We don't need any of this or this, it turns out, at least now. No. I guess I'm going to need more, which is just defining the database itself. And so now it's going to be happier, and database comes from SQLite 3 itself, or, let's see if the import picks it up. Close. And I need to type it, and then that's about it, right? At types. So let's hope this works. First try. And now we're looking at something more smoother. We do want to define migrations and all that. For some reason here, they haven't done it. So there might be some default paths that they have. Let's see. Oh, it's migrations right from the home directory. I'm happy to pursue this. I have my own migration paths folder, so let me configure that. And I'm not using seeds yet, so that's fine. And then and just to double check server DB migrations, and we already have a few in here, and we'll see. We'll add more. We'll move the code over, and we'll try again. All right, config top level await. Anything that stands out here? It's just including stuff that's already included for us. And our migrations look like this. That's fine. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I wonder if there's like a... This is very nice. This looks very nice. Okay. This might be the minimum configuration I need. And let me just quickly eyeball this. Optional, a function that returns the migration prefix affects migration make. Default is date _, which I'm happy with. Okay, so all of this seems legit. And let's run it. Let's make a migration for, and let's start with create user, why not? So Keasley direct. So I should be able to just do pm Keasley migrate make. And then out here, I pass it the name of my maker, let's say. So I'm going to say create user. And that's all I should need. And let's see. First try. Okay, let's go in here and now migrate, quite literally, the code. So here, if I refresh, I am seeing this, which looks like this now. And then let me, in a different window, open this up. And up migration code is here. Up migrations are mandatory. You must implement this function. Any is required here since migrations should be frozen in time. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I guess I am starting here, but being aware that at some point I'm going to need to create these types in a type file. Let's just go back to that create table example, even though simple. Does it seem like email and pass? So it's not exactly quite copying from here, but let me grab this. Let me grab that. And then this seems good. Oh, that doesn't work for me. So let me just grab all of that, I guess. And the few things I'm curious about, which is, can I just do this in SQLite and not have to care? And then password, I don't want. And here's a chance to use, and I'm just going to go old school. Looks good. And updated at. DB raw, it doesn't like, does not exist on Keasley, but default 2 does. I'm just trying. Let's just go into the Keasley code and see if there is. So there seems to be a SQL template tag. But I wonder if you can use that like within the rest of the, I mean, seems like it. Okay, let's try it out. It doesn't want to show me that. Could it be as simple as this? Let's find out. Okay, that seems to be the equivalent of what I have here. Let's do this part. And that seems correct. I do want to name this users and not user. And just for, this seems like somebody's name. But I just want to conform to kind of traditional pluralization of database names. Okay, just doing a chime check for myself. 15 good minutes. Let's see how far we get. Okay, so now theoretically I should be able to I think I need to do more configuration, but I should be able to create or migrate here. Noting that these files should not be here. Can I do this? Can I do this? Okay, I can do that. Can I do this? Yeah, I can. Okay. So I can do this, and then I can do this. And now that's there. And then I was pressing X and P just to copy paste or cut and paste these files within the Vim interface for this plugin. And now it only has that one migration file. And then let me look at the config file, double check on that .config file. I'm using an example DB here. I'm just going to leave it like this and then see what happens before I jump into anything else. And then let's do migrate latest. Ran the one migration. And then yeah, I think the table creation seems to have worked. And then I believe I have this, which I can use. I'm gonna just open it here, bring it onto the screen here, full screen that. I love how some of these tools have like just the smallest buttons. Look at that, that refresh button is so small. But I'm looking at my database here, which has a users table. I double click, it gives me that, and I can browse the table and it's empty. So now I have a SQLite browser available to us. That worked. So let's go on and create the rest of the migrations. So I have create user. I will need create game. Games, let's say. That's my fault. Games, players, and turns. Okay, let's fill that out. And here, I won't even bother with this for now. Like, it's fine. This one is games. So let's so I got games up top there, and I'm working down here. And this will help me recall the fields. I mean, I'll accept this for now, and then we'll see where we net out for the rest. I just want to make sure that, like, it's not just me, right? Like, I did use await here. DB schema, but when I use await here, it's like, it doesn't like it. Await does nothing, it says. Why is that? Help me out here. DB schema, create table, games. Yeah, don't know. Okay, well, let's just power through. I got my create games here, and so I have ID, yes, primary, not null, auto increment. I got round number, which is integer and not null, and then default to 1. I got turn number. Yep, looking good. Oh, this is simple, created at and updated at. All right, we're done here and here. And it's not bothered with the await here, but for some reason believes, I know why. That makes sense. I don't have the execute at the end here. So it doesn't want to do it still. There we go. And now the await works. Yes, maybe the execute is missing, correct. And then I need to import SQL from Keasley. And I'll just do the rest before I migrate further. This is giving me turns, and I think I create turns here. So okay, await. Yeah, I already forget the syntax here. ID looks good. And then I'm here looking at game ID, integer not null, good. And here we got player ID. integer not null. We got number. Number integer not null. Question varchar. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Let me actually give that a shot. Sorry, I'm just checking my messages again. Okay, so where am I in time? I got 10 minutes. Boy. Okay, playground. Keasley playground. Yeah, I didn't know. I know I didn't have to correct it. Oh, sweet. Very nice. Cool. Pretty cool. Very smart. Is that what the playground consists of? Is there? It's pretty neat. It's also neat that some like a user presumably contribute that just to make everyone's life easier, which is fantastic. All right. Question, varchar not null, correct? Answer also varchar not null. It's not going to pick up on answer state. Answer state varchar not null with a default value of pending. Thank you. I was reading that when you thank AI, it costs millions of dollars, but nothing's stopping you from verbally thanking AI, right? Round number is an integer, allow null is false, and I am not defaulting, my friend AI. And here we go. And now remember the dot execute. No foreign keys just yet, please. Let's import. And let's create the dropper. All right, I got my game, I got my turns, I need my players. Correct. Let's start with that. Let's go. All right. ID up front. Yeah. I'm just accepting the line from AI and then modifying it. Sometimes that's faster than like getting words. So game ID integer not null. Number integer not null, and then name. Right, this is the player. Sure, let's just accept this for now, and then we can fill in there. So icon adjective. Adjective, singular. And then state, yeah. Technically it's active. I'm fine having that, and then create an update at, and then the down state. Okay, all right. So I got the rest of my migrations, which I should be able to run with latest. Okay, and that will have created all my tables. Is there like a refresh? Yeah. Which I'm an old man now. I can't read this, bro. Come on. Is there like a enter your age option here? Who made this? Some kid, some 16-year-old with AI. I'm kidding. Somebody put effort into making this. It's just hard for me to read. That's some feedback for you. Okay, cool. So it seems like all that has been created. I got my data. Let me now try here with, so none of these models become relevant anymore for now. But let me try doing a simple game insert using Keasley here now, and then I can get that from the documentation. Getting started. Will they have just an insert? Insert into values. Is that what the... Perfect. Great, we'll be using all of this. Oh, so they just have this connected to the playground. Insert into values is the system. Execute take first will return. And I think SQLite and Postgres are similar, and MySQL probably doesn't. Oh, they do. Does it run 2 queries? Because SQLite would have like returning. It doesn't. Huh. Does take first. What's take first? I actually do need to create types. So maybe I jumped the gun here. Thanks for the reminder. We need to begin by creating types. So we can have a types.ts, and then we would need to import that in the place where we're running it. And so that would give us our, I guess I don't know how that works exactly. Person, people, users. So I guess I'll have to reconcile. So we map here. So this can be, okay, perfect, no problem. Let's copy just this bit and get started. And so I know I want my file on server db types.ts, and I can start with this, and I have games, users, and what else I got? Game players, and turns. And all of these can be singular. Okay. Let's continue. Export interface blah table. Export interface user table. Sure, why not? I'll accept. And I will also split and look at my create user file, so I can name, email, created, updated, add, thumbs up. Let's just see if they have. Yeah, so column type date and all of this business, which I'm not sure exactly what that is doing as yet, but fine. And then the rest of this is dependent on my actual typing, which this looks fine. And then turntable. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, let's just make sure. So I got ID, round number, turn number, created, updated. This is very nice. This is happening pretty fast. Generated. Okay, great. And they have a nice example for JSON column types as well. So that's 2 tables down. Players next. Does it know? Yes, it does. And let's see what it gives me. So I got ID, game ID, number, name, icon. Icon is. Should I pass a null? Because it seems like that's what they've done here. Instead of saying question mark, which is undefined, they have given null. So I'm just gonna kind of create that option here. State is active and inactive thus far. So I'll live with that. And then state created at, updated at. Cool. So far, so okay. This is still players. No, this is turns. Good. And then lastly, my turns, my turntable. Game ID, integer, player ID, number, question, answer, state. Perfect. That is correct. Round number, that all looks good. And then down here, there's some guidance to create the actual type itself. So let's do that. I feel like I should just do it after each user table insert. No, export type user selectable. Yeah, and then let's do insertable. Is that what they call here? New pet and pet update. New pet, pet update. Insertable user and updatable user. Can I do user update and user insert? So they're all kind of, it starts with the user, right? I'm not using different words. I guess I placed this improperly. And then let's close this up, and then let's add this for the rest of the file. Let's see if it picks up. Yep, game update and game insert. This is, I mean, I like this AI autocomplete helper. Fills out my boilerplate and makes that part quicker. Oh, wow. It is recommended to automatically generate your database interface by introspecting your production database or Prisma schemas. For now, we won't get into that. It's just a okay, so now we're ready to insert and do all that business. And we've gone over, I'll go another few minutes. I feel like I'm so close to getting like a certain section if I don't do it. I'll feel unaccomplished. Okay, so database.ts, and here we do want to, import, not from models. What you got for me? DB types, and here got to look at the insert pass. Sorry, I need to check my messages. I'm just seeing a message from work here from earlier that I didn't see, and it says it's someone was working on this design, and they shared and asked people to give feedback, and somebody replied by saying 1 pixel is off. It's off by 1 pixel, followed by a quick "just kidding." Okay, so insert. Values person, and person is the new person object. Here, I don't think I'll need to use the types necessarily if I just do this business. So let me do that down here for now. And here I can execute to take first or throw. Okay, not bad. So let me say const game is equal to. This won't yet know that I want to use DB, and DB comes from my database definition, which I have not done yet. So I did not do this business. So source database. Okay, so I have my types here. I'm just trying to think how I want to manage this. What, you know, let's just call it config.ts for now, and we'll figure out the rest later. Here, I think I had environment sequelize, which I don't mind, I guess, which is like adding all my environment related files here. And let me just copy this entire thing here. And this I find interesting because I have a Keasley config file, which for some reason is going to be different than my setup file here. But this is the world we live in, and because I do not care, we're just going to go straight up. Okay, and this and that should be it, and the database is coming from my types, which is db types file. And now it knows my database. And here I will now need to go back into my database TS. db dot insert into. Okay, so it knows that. So I guess it'll complete this for me as well. Returning all. So I guess returning all is returning everything it inserted. And then it's taking the first value of that. And I can import my DB from Keasley. I have my players here, but I do not want to focus on that for now. And here, presumably, I can just return my game because I expect that this is just an object. I do need to await. And that should be enough to give me, I'm just going to comment all these out so I can run this. These can go away now, and then I just got this. Okay. Will it blend? Insert, please. Thumbs up. We got a task ID 1, or sorry, the game ID 1. This sort of outputs the task result. That is working. And in this case, I don't really need to. So what I will do, which I'll just spend a little bit of time into sort of this cleanup idea of how to use transactions. And so db transaction execute trx. They have const cat to, but they don't use it anywhere. So presumably I don't have to worry about that for now. db transaction, let's see. So this has given me that. And then, okay, so whatever gets returned gets sent back. So I do want const game, let's just say, because at the end of this, I want my game object. I'll just call it result for now. And here I can return result. And then here I will be inside my transaction. And then it wants us to do transaction.insert into. Okay, I don't dislike this interface. Fairly straightforward. And then here I want to, at the end of the day, return the game. And now this configuration should run within a transaction and give me ID 2. Perfect. And now I can take a quick look at inserting multiple rows, inserting complex values, returning data, insert subquery. And I guess I don't need to worry too much at this stage about things like associations and all that, right? Like it just is what it is. And I just, for now, need to care about inserting multiple rows because that's what I want to do with the players. And it's the same thing, it seems. Insert into with the values, and then execute. Now, in this situation, they don't have anything returning. But let's see if in this getting started, yeah, they don't seem to have any multiple inserts here, but we'll play around. We'll see where this takes us. So here, I can just do this in one shot with const player insertions. Sure. I do not wish to do, because I feel like I should be able to just insert players directly. So I should be able to do tx dot insert into values. Oh, okay, yeah. That's fine. It's trying to respect what I have down here in the comments, and I respect that. I do need to do that, actually, because some of these things are important. And it's using the game ID from above. Perfect. Returning all, execute. And for my own purpose, let's just see what happens. Promise pending, of course. I'm curious whether this will be like object. No, it has inserted it. It has IDs. It has the data that we need. Just noticing that created at, updated at is not by the millisecond. So when we sort by that, it's not precise. SQLite 3 timestamp milliseconds. Is there? It's just subsecond for the datetime epoch. Default datetime subsec. And this is something that I guess I will have to manage now as I do time, because it's still date time. I think that's worth it for me to pursue, just from my own understanding as well. So current timestamp. So either do this, it says, so that your column definition can become this. Some people suggest this. So this was the original answer. And this is the new version. For integer column created at. So it's integer. Okay, that's nice. I don't know how I feel about this. But let's get all instances of current timestamp. And well, these ones I don't have to worry about. So the only ones I actually care about is in my new migrations for now. And my default to will be SQL. And then let's go to the next file. Dot, dot. And here I can just remove my example DB and run latest and come across all these issues. Perfect. I suppose. What did I do? I suppose not. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Bring me back, undo, undo, bring back, undo, 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 undo. Not today. Get thee behind me. We're just going to deal with suboptimal time. But I know now. So, oh my God, I'm 2:15. Ugh. So I got to the point where I have insert working, I got execute working, and then I suppose I can do something like, yeah, I suppose here I can do something like, come on. Players dot insertion. What are we doing here? Player insertions dot map. You don't want to just do player insertions. You want to do a whole map business. And then this should give me the object. Now I'm just, I'm dealing with raw JavaScript objects, just JSON. Yo, bro. How did this happen? Oh, okay. I was like, is it randomly generating these adjectives? No, I coded them. Okay, so I think I'll wrap it up here. And then the next step that I'll have to do is actually just modify the app itself. We have a simplified process. I'll begin using transactions. I will probably still retain the model files and just have functions in those model files that are exported and then used in the rest of the application. I want to continue to do all coding on this app on stream. So, but for now, I just I'm gonna take a breather. I might come back tonight in a couple of hours if I'm feeling up for it, or later, because I do want to make progress. Because even now, I'm not at the state I should be. Like I'm not, like I'm more behind than I was yesterday. So I'd love to end the day with completion to like where you get the rest of the app working. But so I might do it later tonight or maybe sometime tomorrow night. We'll see. It'll be random, but thanks for joining me on this episode, on this session of Product Like It's Friday, even though it's Wednesday, 4 days in a row. Let's see how far, or whether we can keep it going or not, and then we'll I'll see you at a random time, maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight, maybe the day after. The day after is Friday, so hopefully definitely the day after tomorrow. Good night and thank you.